To crack an egg increases, as so does the charge to take out your garbage. U.S. Route 11 outside of Potsdam shut down for part of the day as winter weather makes for dangerous driving conditions across the North Country. But first, a judge's ruling comes down on a $3.4 million purchase of the Watertown golf course just hours before Tuesday's City Council meeting. Good evening, I'm Zach Grady. Garrett Domblewski is off tonight. Whether the city is paying too much for the Watertown Golf Club is irrelevant, as a judge says the deal for the course is legal. State Supreme Court Judge James McCluskey rejected a challenge to the city's purchase of the golf club. The lawsuit contended that the $3.4 million deal was too expensive. The suit also alleged that without an appraisal, it should be considered a gift, which violates the state's constitution. McCluskey ruled that the sale does not represent an illegal activity, saying that if a voter believes their representatives have paid too much for an item, they can get upset, and if they believe they greatly overpaid, they can vote them out of office. 7 News spoke to Mayor Jeff Smith, Councilwoman Lisa Ruggiero Tuesday afternoon, as well as club owner Mike Lundy.
The city has a tremendous opportunity. They can do things with that course that I simply can't. They own the land around it. They have opportunities to expand the course. You know, they could apply for recreation grants. There's a lot of things the city could do to take this golf course to the next level that a private owner just simply couldn't do.
Look, if the majority is so eager to dump out $3.4 million and, give one of their friends more money than what they wanted, they're going to do that. And the voters will have to remember that or they're going to accept that direction.
I think that now going forward, we need to make sure that that this is a success, and that I hope that people understand why we felt the need to have control of the land.
With this decision now in place, council members say the only thing left to do is the final closing on the $3.4 million deal. Several issues were discussed during Tuesday night's City Council meeting, with the golf course being at the center of it. With litigation now over, Mayor Jeff Smith and Council member Sarah Campo-Pierce wanted to learn some of the information that the majority of council members Lisa Ruggiero, Patrick Hickey, and Cliff Only were reluctant to share with litigation pending. However, the majority did not feel like Tuesday night was the right time or place to share any new information to the public. Instead, Councilmember Lisa Ruggiero says she hopes moving forward with the golf course deal will bring unity back to the council.
I hope that some of this divisiveness will end. I know we have many other issues. I think that this decision hopefully will help us go forward.
The judge came back and found exactly what we already knew, that we're within our rights, and that this was the best deal for the city taxpayers. And we took and looked at every detail very carefully, and we did our due diligence. And we came to the conclusion that had we not done this, the consequences of it would have been far worse for the city.
We hear more diversion later. It's a bottle of wine. It just is amazing that we're not going to tell the public what the facts are. Now, you can criticize me for telling the facts. The fact of the matter is this was an asset sale. What were the assets? And I've said this publicly multiple times. Land, golf carts, equipment, and buildings. Who put the number on those assets? The people these three were meeting with privately. No independent appraisal.
The golf course was not the only item on the agenda for Watertown City Council. They looked to fix a mistake Tuesday night after city manager Ken Mix refunded thousands of dollars to a city resident. 7 News reporter Brendan Straub has the details.
It has to do with 235 Main Avenue, the former Dealmaker Conference Center. After taxes weren't paid by Dealmaker, the property went to a tax sale, with Watertown's Kathleen Burgess acquiring the tax certificate for $37,000. But in the notification process to mortgage holders, the city made an administrative error. Burgess used the error to back out of taking title to the property, which is severely contaminated with mold. City manager Ken Mix refunded Burgess her money, $37,000. And that's where the city's rule book, the city charter, was potentially violated. The charter says, in part, the council shall refund the purchaser the money, meaning a council vote, not a sole decision by the city manager. Mix doesn't see it that way.
As far as we're concerned, we followed and did what was necessary to fix it at the time.
City Councilmember Lisa Ruggiero feels a new policy needs to be put in place.
Once this happened and I found out, I asked questions, and that's part of our job. And so I asked, is there a policy about this when you determine who's going to get money back? I was concerned about discrimination, that if you pick and choose who gets their money back and who doesn't. And then I found out that Ms. Burgess was the only person in the comptroller's memory that's ever basically had her money refunded to her.
Ruggiero says it'll likely be talked about during executive session in Tuesday night's meeting. That's because there's litigation. The property owned by Dealmaker, and that's PJ Sameo, and he says he's suing to make the city follow the charter because he feels the situation was handled differently because he's the property owner. Brendan Straub, 7 News.
Bit of a quiet evening at the moment out there weather-wise, so let's head over to John in the Weather Center for our first weather forecast.
Hey, Zach, not too much happening outside like you mentioned. However, that's all subject to change this time of year rather quickly, as a matter of fact. All right, let's check those maps. First look weather brought to you by Doors Plus and Adams Center. Notice a little bit of blue showing up over towards Malone and Messina. It's all snow, but as we focus our attention more on Lake Ontario, some green heading our way. That's rain, but where temperatures are a bit colder, especially up in St. Lawrence County, you'll be dealing with a little bit of light freezing rain overnight tonight and tomorrow morning too. Temperatures pretty much in the upper 30s, but a bit colder up Messina way. So we'll talk about the implications of that. We'll peek into the weekend as well here in a few. Zach, we'll send it back to you.
Thanks, John. Winter weather caused crashes Tuesday throughout the North Country. There were no reported injuries in a 3-vehicle crash in the city on the Court Street Bridge. A car struck with a SUV coming from the opposite direction. The driver of the car says that the slippery roadways made him swerve into the opposite lane. A UPS truck was also involved in the accident. Guilfoyle Ambulance Services, along with Watertown Police and Fire Department, responded to the scene. U.S. Route 11 was shut down in St. Lawrence County after a Tuesday mid-afternoon crash. State police on scene tell 7 News road conditions could be to blame as a wintry mix of precipitation fell in some areas of the North Country. 2 vehicles collided just west of the village of Potsdam. One, a pickup truck, was in the ditch without one of the truck's front tires. Another, a SUV, had a significant front end damage done to it. Police on scene say no one was seriously hurt. The highway has since been reopened. A 60-year-old Jefferson County man has died after a crash with his utility terrain vehicle. State police say it happened around 5 p.m. Monday. The incident occurred on an off-road trail near the Bishop Road in the town of Richland in Oswego County. James Potter of Mansfield backed into a tree, causing the UTV to roll over, pinning Potter underneath. Potter was taken to a Syracuse hospital where he later died. A fire destroys a home in Turin early Tuesday morning. The Red Cross responded and is helping the family of 6 who live there. Lewis County's 911 got the call at 2 a.m. to a home on State Route 26 north of Turin owned by Clark Miller. The caller reported flames coming out of the chimney. The home could not be saved and was torn down as a safety precaution. The American Red Cross says it is helping the 2 adults and 4 children who live there. The agency says there is an 8-year-old, a 6-year-old, and 2 3-year-olds. Turin had help from the Constableville, Martinsburg, 3G, and Lions Falls departments, as well the Constableville Ambulance Group. The father of a missing Lewis County man shares a few more pictures with 7 News tonight in his hopes of finding his son. State police released the picture Monday when it reported 30-year-old Tyler Morohan missing. They say he was last seen January 3rd leaving a home in West Carthage. Tyler's father, Jeff, tells 7 News he was visiting a friend in West Carthage and that he lives in Martinsburg. Anyone with information can call police at 315-366-6000. Still to come, Mel's in with your North Country Sports Report.
Hey, Zach, we're going to take you into the pool as we take a look at the Watertown boys swim team.
Plus, when 7 News continues, from $45 to $145. A Carthage diner talks to us about their cost to crack an egg.
From the North Country's news station, you're watching 7 News tonight with Garrett Dumbluski. Tonight's weather with John Kubis. And your North Country sports with Mel Busler.
Your winning Tuesday evening numbers, the daily 409, and the win for numbers are 1300. Getting your trash picked up may become a little pricier in the coming months. 7 News reporter Lexi Bruning tells us why.
Watertown's Pick and Go Property Waste Services has 4,000 customers in the Tri-County area, and prices are set to go up. By how much is yet to be determined.
Just increase your prices, with inflation like the way it is now, with every household, it's hard to ask for more out of people.
A big reason, the Development Authority of the North Country, DANC for short, raised the price it charges to dump garbage into the Rodman landfill. From the end of your driveway to where it ends up, here is where garbage from Jefferson, Lewis, and St. Lawrence counties is collected. The price increase came January 1st, charging municipalities $50 per ton, up from $47 per ton. It's a 6% increase approved by the DANC board last year.
Last June, the southern expansion at the landfill opened and became operational, and we're required by law to fund a number of different reserve accounts to make sure that there's money always available for closure and post-closure costs and things related to that.
The price change is trickling down into North Country municipalities. The Village of Messina is considering increasing its rate for residents from $21.50 per month to $25 per month.
DANC raised the cost of the county, and in turn the county doesn't really have much choice but to pass that on to us. So, and of course we have to pass that on to the ratepayer themselves.
Messina will be holding a public hearing about the increase next month. As for Watertown, City Manager Ken Mick says the city hasn't decided if it will be increasing its fees for its garbage customers. Lexi Bruning, 7 News.
Another price going up are eggs. Avian flu is to blame, and restaurant owners are saying the costs are adding up. We learned just how expensive this menu mainstay is for one Carthage diner and how another eatery in the village is holding off on expanding its menu. 7 News reporter Chad Charette has the story.
As avian flu cases jump, so do the prices of eggs. That makes life difficult for diners, where eggs are a mainstay on the menu.
Egg prices are through the roof, but we are surviving.
According to its owner, egg expenses for the Church Street Diner in Carthage are at an all-time high. Last year, 30 dozen eggs cost $45. In 2023, that price is now $147.
I've been here for 24 years. This is the second time I've seen egg costs go over $100 a case.
Lilakowski says she's somewhat optimistic that costs will go down, ironically, around Easter. She's not sure if last year's prices will ever return, though.
So it's hard to say what the future holds. It's a farming industry. You never know what the industry is going to hold for a market value.
For Morning Ritual owner Pagan Thatcher, raising prices isn't an option. It's a new business, and she wants to keep things affordable for potential regulars.
So you just kind of go with the flow and roll with the changes and hope that it gets better really fast.
Previously, Pagan had planned to expand her cafe's menu in early 2023 to include breakfast sandwiches for her Carthage crowd. But with today's prices, she'll wait.
I don't think that it's feasible at this time to be able to do it where it's cost effective.
And if prices don't drop soon, Pagan says she may need to start sourcing her eggs elsewhere.
Well, they need to come down. That's what I've decided. Either that or I'm going to have to start doing my own chickens, That's the only options here, which I've considered.
With growing prices and shrinking profits, all restaurant owners can do now is watch and see if costs come back to a more affordable level. Chad Charette, 7 News.
John Kubis will be back in a moment with your full weather forecast. Your winning Tuesday evening numbers, the daily 409, and the win for numbers are 1300. Getting your trash picked up may become a little pricier in the coming months. 7 News reporter Lexi Bruning tells us why.
Watertown's Pick and Go Property Waste Services has 4,000 customers in the Tri-County area, and prices are set to go up. By how much is yet to be determined.
Just increase your prices, with inflation like the way it is now, with every household, you know. It's hard to ask for more out of people.
A big reason, the Development Authority of the North Country, DANK for short, raised the price it charges to dump garbage into the Rodman landfill. From the end of your driveway to where it ends up, here is where garbage from Jefferson, Lewis, and St. Lawrence counties is collected. The price increase came January 1st, charging municipalities $50 per ton, up from $47 per ton. It's a 6% increase approved by the DANK board last year.
Last June, the southern expansion at the landfill opened and became operational, and we're required by law to fund a number of different reserve accounts to make sure that there's money always available for closure and post-closure costs and things related to that.
The price change is trickling down into North Country municipalities. The village of Messina is considering increasing its rate for residents from $21.50 per month to $25 per month.
DANK raised the cost of the county, and in turn the county doesn't really have much choice but to pass that on to us. So, and of course we have to pass that on to the ratepayer themselves.
Messina will be holding a public hearing about the increase next month. As for Watertown, City Manager Ken Mick says the city hasn't decided if it will be increasing its fees for its garbage customers. Lexi Bruning, 7 News.
Another price going up are eggs. Avian flu is to blame, and restaurant owners are saying the costs are adding up. We learned just how expensive this menu mainstay is for one Carthage diner and how another eatery in the village is holding off on expanding its menu. 7 News reporter Chad Charette has the story.
As avian flu cases jump, so do the prices of eggs. That makes life difficult for diners, where eggs are a mainstay on the menu.
Egg prices are through the roof, but we are surviving.
According to its owner, egg expenses for the Church Street Diner in Carthage are at an all-time high. Last year, 30 dozen eggs cost $45. In 2023, that price is now $147.
I've been here for 24 years. This is the second time I've seen egg costs go over $100 a case.
Lee Lakowski says she's somewhat optimistic that costs will go down, ironically, around Easter. She's not sure if last year's prices will ever return, though.
So it's hard to say what the future holds. It's a farming industry. You never know what the industry is going to hold for a market value.
For Morning Ritual owner Pagan Thatcher, raising prices isn't an option. It's a new business, and she wants to keep things affordable for potential regulars.
So you just kind of go with the flow and roll with the changes and hope that it gets better really fast.
Previously, Pagan had planned to expand her cafe's menu in early 2023 to include breakfast sandwiches for her Carthage crowd. But with today's prices, she'll wait.
I don't think that it's feasible at this time to be able to do it where it's cost effective.
And if prices don't drop soon, Pagan says she may need to start sourcing her eggs elsewhere.
Well, they need to come down. That's what I've decided. Either that or I'm going to have to start doing my own chickens, you know? That's the only options here, which I've considered.
With growing prices and shrinking profits, all restaurant owners can do now is watch and see if costs come back to a more affordable level. Chad Charette, 7 News.
John Kubis will be back in a moment with your full weather forecast.
Speed. Oh, Karen, it's such a pleasure to talk to you, and even more of a pleasure to be able to read your work. And I completely, I assume that you loved the Netflix version. I know it's probably hard at any time to see your story taken on in a different capacity if you're not completely in control of it, but you must have been thrilled with it.
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, I would tell readers the show is the show and the book is the book.
Yeah.
But I think most of my readers were pretty pleased with Pieces of Her. And Toni Collette is amazing.
Yeah.
So, you know, she could, I would watch a show about her being a painter, you know, just painting walls. So it was really great, and it was a good experience. And my Will Trent series has been picked up by ABC. They're going to start showing that, I hope, in January. And I've seen the pilot, and that's great. So I'm really glad, and I hope my readers enjoy seeing these adaptations.
Well, and let's hope it comes around full circle where people are seeing these shows and then going, wait a second, that's based on a book. Maybe it's time I pick up a book. It's been a minute, right?
Yeah, exactly. I love those stories of people who go back to reading and they get my books and it makes them want to read more.
Oh, that's what it's all about. Well, you certainly do that, and you do that well. The book is fantastic. The latest one from Karen Slaughter is Girl Forgotten. Karen, thank you so much for talking with me today.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Olivia's Book Club, the podcast. I'm your host, Olivia Fierro. Our producer is Margaret Stewart. You can send us an email with your thoughts or your book recommendations. Olivia's Book Club at azfamily.com is the address. And you can check out Olivia's Book Club on Facebook or find us on Instagram. Hello, Bookstagrammers, at olivias.bookclub. And Margaret is at Overbooked and Overdue. Make sure to rate and subscribe to this podcast and tell your friends. You can find us on Apple and Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and Amazon Music.
Streaming 24/7, you're watching Local News Live.
Now, tonight's weather.
Pretty quiet out there right now. That'll be changing over the next couple of hours as more moisture works on in from the west. 38 degrees, cloudy skies, winds are calm. Hey, no wind chill to talk about. Always a good thing this time of year. Pressure is low, 2954. It's been falling. Yeah, there's low pressure off to our west, and that's going to keep us a bit unsettled tonight and tomorrow too. 38 the high, 8 the low as far as the averages. Fairly close to the average low and actually well above the average high. Records 52, set back in 1990. Was a chilly one in 71. We got down to 25 below. 30 for you, Messina. 33s, Wanakina, Old Forge, and Lowville. All the way up to 40 in Barnes Corners. And it looks like 32 right now in Kingston. Notice a little slug of moisture working on by northern Jefferson County, where it's a bit cooler up by the river. A little bit of pink showing up on the maps, but mainly green. I think for the most part, the best chance for any wintry mix overnight will be in northern St. Lawrence County. Your temperatures will be running a bit colder. They generally do this time of year. Notice off to the west, spin in the atmosphere west of Toronto. That low will quickly pass on by tomorrow and give us a little bit of rain and also a little bit of snow too. Let's talk about the blue on the maps. Notice Jefferson County and Lewis County have been dropped from the winter weather advisory. Not the case in St. Lawrence County and pretty much all the Adirondacks. Winter weather advisory until 7 a.m. on your Wednesday for that potential for a little bit of freezing rain. As we widen the view, the eye is immediately drawn to the desert southwest, and notice a spin in the atmosphere. This came off the Pacific. This low pressure, usually they tend to be disrupted by the mountains. Not so much in this case. This low is pretty strong, and it is producing some snow in portions of Colorado and also in portions of Kansas as well. And we'll have to watch this low because in just a couple of days, it'll be affecting our weather right here. As far as the overnight tonight, notice, some more moisture heading our way. Where you see the green tomorrow morning, that's rain, Watertown, Clayton, Fort Drum, Hammond. And where you see the blue, Barnes Corners, Ogdensburg, Messina, and also up Potsdam Way. That's some snow. Notice the precipitation gets on out of here by the afternoon, and I think tomorrow night should be fairly quiet. Your lows overnight, pretty much we've hit them. Temperatures on the rise, and that wintry mix is behind us. Tomorrow, some rain, some snow. Highs pretty much in the mid to upper 30s. In Lewis County overnight, it looks like that wintry mix behind you as well. Just some rain and lows pretty much in the lower to mid 30s. Tomorrow, some rain, some snow. Highs in the mid 30s. In St. Lawrence County tonight, colder for you, so you'll be dealing with a little bit of light freezing rain. And your lows pretty much in the mid to upper 20s to lower 30s. Tomorrow, some rain, some snow, and highs around freezing. All right, Thursday, some snow, 33. Snow on Friday, highs around 31. Saturday, cloudy, highs around 30. Sunday, some snow and 34. And Monday and Tuesday, the risk of snow, highs in the 30s and lows in the 20s. That's all I have for now. Coming up next, Mel has sports. Stay tuned.
Now your North Country Sports.
Time for your Toyota Sports Report on this quiet night locally. I thought I'd take a look back to the past weekend and a Coaches versus Cancer event where Lafargeville and Alexandria put their efforts together to raise money in the fight against cancer. The Red Knights of Lafargeville and the Purple Ghosts of Alexandria met this past Saturday in JV and varsity basketball for both boys and girls. The biggest opponent? The battle against cancer.
Yeah, it was kind of a small project we started about 13 years ago where we just started selling some t-shirts to raise some money for the Cancer Society, and it's really growing into a big event like it is this year.
Lafargeville and Alexandria have become partners in the fight against the disease.
Yeah, every other year we host, and then the other years that Alex Bay hosts. So we kind of work together, we do some projects together, so each school kind of puts their own touch on this event, and we're happy to help each other out whenever is needed.
It's pretty significant to me. I've had a few family members and some close family friends that have lost their lives to cancer, so it's pretty meaningful to us, and I know it is to Jay as well. So it's awesome to be able to take part in this weekend for actually my first time ever, so as a coach.
These two schools, of course, couldn't raise the money without community support.
Yeah, this event couldn't be possible without our community support in Lafargeville and Alexandria. We got a ton of support from our parents and our teachers, as well as all the businesses in town. They really come forward and give us donations and make this event really what it is today.
The goal was around $4,000. Impressive numbers for the American Cancer Society. Special thanks to Chris Marcinko for supplying the video for that story. Thanks, Chris. Tonight's local scoreboard's brought to you by Coleman's Corner, located behind Fairground Inn, across from Watertown Arena. Coleman's Corner offers traditional Irish fare along with gourmet sandwiches, burger, steaks, and seafood. Enjoy your favorite beverage for great food. It's Coleman's Corner. Women's college hockey, RIT defeats St. Lawrence 2-1. Women's college basketball, SUNY Potsdam over SUNY Canton 70-59. Middlebury defeats St. Lawrence 70-61. And in girls high school basketball, Northeastern Clinton a winner over Malone 39-36. Frontier League Boys Swimming Championships are coming up this weekend at Indian River. The Watertown boys team is looking to continue its success on Saturday. The Cyclones are 8-0 so far this season. This year's team adding to what is a strong swimming program.
We're doing pretty well this year. Guys are working hard in practice. I think our secret for us this year is all of our events on our own team. We have 2-3 guys that are doing pretty well, and they've been able to push each other not only in practice but in our dual meets. So they have that friendly competition. And then we go on to our dual meets in the league and out of the league, and then we hit some competition there as well. There's definitely some strong guys in the Frontier League outside of Watertown, and it's our goal to always stay with them or beat them if we can.
I think that we're doing really good this year, and I think the reason why we're doing really good is because, I think when we get to practice, we immediately get into the water, we start our warm-up, we start our stretches, and, even if coach isn't there, we have our captains, helping to, moderate the team as well. But also, coach is a very, very good coach, and he always, knows what to do for the team, always knows how to motivate us, cheer us up, and I think our team is just really good. We're like a family.
So I feel like this year we have really hit our stride. We have lots of depth, so everyone gets to swim really where they want and still excel, and we'll be able to be undefeated this year. So that's pretty great, and I think we can give most of our thanks for our undefeated record to Coach Graben because of how hard he pushes us in practice.
I think we have a lot of new swimmers this year, but we've all been doing pretty great because we've been pushing each other pretty hard during practice, and Coach has been there supporting us all the time.
I think this year we're performing just as well as last year, if not better. I believe that our team is growing personally, and we're getting more brotherhood out of it and more teamwork out of it.
Up next for Watertown, the Frontier League Championships this Saturday at Indian River. Watertown expected to bring home another title this weekend.
Yeah, we're confident. But we had the Watertown Invitational last Saturday, and we did really good on that. And it's basically the same amount of teams, and I think we'll walk away champion.
I think we're all ready. We've been working hard in practice, ready to beat all the other Frontier League teams, and I think we're all ready.
The other teams better watch out because we're coming to win. We put in so much hard work, like I said, and I'm confident we're going to come out as winners.
Planning that we'll do really well. I mean, we've been successful this season so far, so I'm pretty ready for this coming up championship.
I think we're going to win it. These guys are insane, and I'm going to try as hard as I can to get us some points. So
this weekend, We're hoping to go in and swim best times across the board. We're hoping to get maybe a couple of state cut times at the meet, whether it's in our individuals or our medley relay. Guys been working hard.
The Cyclones have won 13 league titles since 2009. Chances are good of adding to that streak this weekend. Brandon Staley will be back for a third season as the Los Angeles Chargers head coach. The same cannot be said for some of his offensive staff. The team on Tuesday announced that offensive coordinator Joe Lombardi and quarterbacks coach Shane Day have been fired after 2 years. Well, that's it for now. We're going to stop, pay some bills. When we come back, Mr. Grady will take us into the night.
A little bit of rain, a little bit of snow in our forecast for our Wednesday. Let's look at these numbers. Notice temperatures above freezing at 11 and also at 1.
For John Kubis and Mel Busler, I'm Zach Grady. This has been 7 News Tonight.